Hello and welcome to another dramatic reading by me, Androzani84. Today I'm going to be reading Goku slash Anne Frank Until the End of Time, a crossover between Dragon Ball Z and The Diary of Anne Frank. No, really, that is a thing that happened. But apparently the author learned that there were actual Anne Frank fanfics and was so disgusted he decided to write this as his counter-argument. Just to parody the whole thing. And he claimed it was his brother's idea. And both chapters are really short, so we'll just get through them. Anne sighed as she sat in her room, staring at her wall. She just finished writing in her diary and had nothing to do. Life was boring in the secret annex. It was better than the alternative. It was alright talking to Peter and Margot, but they were both such quiet people, unlike the always active Anne. All of a sudden, a flash of light appeared in the room. Anne jumped back, stifling a scream. Before she could run out of a closed door, she noticed that the person who appeared in the flash was not a Nazi warrior, but someone whom she had never seen before. Oh, I've lost my place now. His clothes were very strange, and his hair was in a spiky style that was totally new to her. She stood against the wall, wary of the stranger, but he walked towards her and smiled, extending a hand. "My name is Goku. I will clarify here that I have never seen anything Dragon Ball related outside of Ghost Nappa's guest appearances on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and a few trailers for Dragon Ball Super Broly," the mysterious stranger said. Anne nervously put her hand in his. He bent down and kissed it softly, then let go. Anne blushed, feeling something she had never felt before go off inside of her. "My name is Anne," she replied quietly. "I'm sorry for what just happened," Goku told her, "but I was caught in a time portal and deposited here. My power cell was recharged soon, and until then, I'm stuck here." Anne had no idea what the handsome strange visitor was talking about, but she played along. "Well, sir," she said, "you may stay in my room as long as you like." Anne blushed again as she said this and giggled slightly. Goku looked around and then sat on the bed. "Thank you for the invitation. I'll be sure to repay you for it soon." Anne did not understand what he meant by that. However, when he spoke, she felt a warmth deep inside of her. You just realised that. Bear in mind this is the adult Goku from Dragon Ball Z onwards. It's not the kid Goku from the original Dragon Ball. This means that he's basically crushing on a teenage girl. I'll miss it. He sat by him on the bed, staring at the man's beautiful eyes. Confirmed, the author thinks Goku has beautiful eyes. Finally, she could stand it no longer. Anne leaned over and kissed the stranger on the cheek and then pulled back quickly, not sure of what she had done. "I'm sorry," she said. She stumbled to find the right word. With a smirk. "No, that's quite alright," he replied with a smile, putting one arm around her. "You know, you're a very beautiful girl, but well..." Anne looked at him, troubled. "What's the matter?" she said with a sweet smile. Goku looked nervous. I'm already married," he finally managed to choke out. Yeah, you'll forget about this by the next part. Anne pulled away from him abruptly. "No!" she said loudly, almost in tears. I'm sorry, he replied. Anne was furious. "Nothing ever goes right," she cried out. "I have to go now. My power cells have recharged," said Goku. Anne was in tears by now, staring at the wall so she wouldn't see Goku's face. "Because he's married? I mean, he's much older than you." He smiled a sad smile and disappeared in another flash out of Anne's life forever. Till the next part. Anne never forgot him. Though, not until the end of time. Roll credits. Anyway, time for part 2. Part 2. A Science Love. 1 month? Well, it didn't feel like a month. To Anne Frank, a Jew in hiding from the Nazis, it seemed like a year. 1 month into a fateful encounter with a mysterious man from another world, who she only knew as Goku. A handsome stranger stepped through time into her life, then disappeared without a trace. Anne was almost sure they'd never meet again, even though not one day passed without her dreaming of him. Weren't you upset at him? Little did she know, however, that their lives were tied by the unbreakable red string of fate, and they're about to be strangled by it too. It was another boring day in the secret annex. and sat on the bed of her room, writing in her diary. Isn't this how the last chapter begun? It never occurred to her, however, this entry would be her last. As she wrote in the quiet attic, there was a loud noise from downstairs. Her heart jumped with both fear and excitement. Was it them, the Nazis, or could it be him? He is happily married! She had no idea whether to run downstairs or to hide. That decision, however, was made for her. The door flew open and a tall soldier was visible in the doorway, glaring at her. Cries from her family members and friends were tuned out as Anne only thought of one thing. She stood up and followed the soldier out of her room, down the stairs, into the back of a truck. "So this is it," she said quietly to herself. "I never see him, my one true love, ever again. And all those years of hiding, they were for naught." Then Anne realised she left her precious diary up in her room. She broke loose from the officer and made a dash back into the shop when he removed a gun from his holster and fired a shot in her direction. That was a terrible transition. Anne fell to the floor. Anne lay on the floor, feeling searing pain run through her leg where the bullet had met its mark. Shouldn't she be dying from lead poisoning? Gestapo officer thought it was a soldier, menacingly moved towards her, grinning, when all of a sudden there was a blinding flash of light, causing the officer to shield his eyes. A huge cloud of smoke appeared next to Anne, blocking her from the soldier's vision. When the smoke cleared, he was in for quite a surprise. There was Goku, holding Anne in his arms, standing next to a huge metal capsule. Is that a thing from Dragon Ball? Let me know. Oh. "Goku!" cried Anne. "You came back for me!" Goku smiled. "Anything for you, my dear." "You are happily married," he said. "Our love will never be lost, not until the end of time." "You are happily married!" Gestapo officer turned tail and ran, but Goku was too quick for him. After laying out on the concrete, he dashed towards the Nazi and knocked him onto the ground unconscious. There's only one blow. "Nazi scum," muttered Goku as he spit on his enemy's limp body. Zimak spat and returned to Anne. Wait, how does Goku even know about the Nazis? Didn't he grow up in the 80s? 80s? "Here, I have something for you," Goku said as he removed a small bean from his pocket. "What on earth is this?" asked Anne. Goku smiled. Remember how ignorant he was to what was everyday like him. "A senzu bean," he said. "Just eat it and it will cure your leg." Anne followed his instructions and popped the bean into her mouth as a root wound on her calf magically healed. Yeah, but there's still a bullet in there and she'll likely die from lead poisoning. "Now come on," commanded Goku. Apparently Goku is now a superior officer. "You got some Nazi ass to kick." Anne jumped off mysterious Saiyan's back as he launched off into the sky. After only a few moments, the two of them arrived in Berlin. Tanks were parading down the street as Adolf Hitler himself stood on a platform overlooking it all. "Stay here," Goku said, dropping Anne in a shaded area under a tree. He then flew straight towards a parade of tanks, fists outstretched, screaming as loud as he could. Soldiers below scattered in terror while the tanks tried to aim their cannons at him. He was too quick and nimble for them, however, and opened the hatch of a nearby Panzer, but headed inside. After dispatching off the soldiers, that all was unnecessary and controlled the war machine, he took the wheel. He fired round after round into the crowd of Nazi soldiers, occasionally firing at the other tanks. After only minutes, there was nothing but a cloud of dust and corpses. Goku emerged from the tank's hatch, smiling now that he had done his duty. When all the dust cleared, there were only two people remaining on the parade ground. Goku, the Saiyan hero, and Adolf Hitler, the most evil man ever to walk the earth. Sure, there were other candidates. Columbus, Henry VIII, Mary I, General Haig. And watching nearby, fearful to saw the two men stare at each other for what seemed like hours. Her one true love, "He is happily married," and her ultimate oppressor. "Come down to this." "So," Hitler said jovially, "you took out all of my men. However, you aren't going to defeat me." Hitler then jumped down from his platform and down the street in Goku, pulling a chain gun from the ground nearby. Goku quickly jumped behind a ruined tank and made off open fire. What is this thing now? Tank made decent cover, but it wasn't long until it would be torn apart by the hail of bullets. Goku had to act. He dashed out from the side of the tank and flew as fast as he could towards Hitler, who had no time to react. He grabbed the chain gun out of his enemy's hand and snapped it over his knees with ease. Hitler stumbled backwards, shocked at the turn of events. Goku smirked and said, "It's come down to this. You and me, fighting like men. If you admit defeat now, I'll kill you rather painlessly." Goku had a definite advantage, or so it seemed. Hitler burst into a laugh as Goku looked on quizzically. The mustachioed man slowly rose into the air as his brown hair and pencil mustache turned a blonde colour and his brown eyes turned blue. Oh God, what's that? Goku reeled in horror. Hitler continued laughing and finally said, "Goku, you came here expecting to find a madman, but instead you found a god!" Hitler had become a Super Saiyan. Oh God. Hitler was apparently a Super Saiyan. Is that plausible in canon? Please tell me. And looked on in awe, not sure what was going on. At first, he might kind of love old Wimmer battle, but she was not so sure. Goku now seemed scared of his opponent, and it was for a good reason. Hitler continued to speak. "Goku, can't you see? I've reached a power level 10 times anything you've ever achieved. Your fate is sealed, weakling." Even though the battle seemed unwinnable, Goku charged in, screaming at the top of his lungs. Every blow he struck with was deflected off Hitler's rock-hard body, confirmed that Hitler was shredded. Hitler waited for Goku to tire himself out and raised his fist and punched Goku. One punch was enough. Goku was knocked across the street into a large propaganda pose of Hitler. Symbolism, falling to the cold hard ground. Hitler laughed, thinking his victory was in his hands at last. What do you mean at last? He's been winning the fight conclusively so far. Goku, however, was not ready to give up. Bruised and battered, he rose from the ground, limping in Hitler's direction. Naturally, the laugh. "You still want to fight? Don't you know when to give up, boy? You can hardly walk, and you expect to beat me, conqueror of Europe?" Goku ignored Adolf's taunts and he continued to stumble his way forward. Finding the two arch rivals, they've just met, but how can they be arch rivals? Were standing face to face. Goku stared Hitler into the eye and screamed, "This is for love!" and flew up into the sky, his hair turning blonde, his eyes blue, and an aura of power radiating from him. Hitler looked on in horror at Goku. He had made the ultimate achievement. He had become a Super Ultra Power Saiyan. Are they a thing? Please tell me. Goku made a cup shape with his hands, aiming at Hitler as he belched out the words, "Kame! Kame! Ha!" As a beam of pure energy shot at his enemy, disintegrating the Nazi leader's body. Congratulations, Goku, you've changed your own history irreparably. Goku then collapsed to the ground in a heap, exhausted from the fight. 2 years later, Anne and Goku had finally reached the date of their wedding. She is underage and he is happily married. After the battle, Anne and Goku destroyed the time machine and took a boat to Australia. Well, that's a good thing, because like I said, the future Goku would go back to would be vastly different to the one he came from. They changed their names and lived new lives, ready to start over. The two young people looked into each other's eyes as they kissed, as the Reverend pronounced them man and wife. Why are they being married by a presumably Protestant Reverend? Anne is Jewish and I doubt Goku is Christian. And at all. Finally it seemed, Anne was at peace. So they would always be together until the end of time. Or they end up dying an even more horrible death than Hitler. Because humans only have finite lifespans. Dear God, this is just terrible. It may have been a parody, but still. Anyway, thank you for putting through my nonsense. My regularly scheduled fix will continue next time.